stalactites because they hang tight to the ceiling. They start out as these little tiny ones. See these little tiny ones that are like along this little fault line? Well, these little formations are actually hollow. So the water flows down the inside and the water flows down the outside. And I don't know if you remember seeing that formation back at the visitor center that had like the little channel down it. That's because stalactites start out as these little tiny ones called soda straws, because they look just like a soda straw. They have a hollow center. Then the center gets clogged up over time, and then they start to turn into a stalactite. When the water drips really quickly off the stalactite and doesn't leave as much material behind, it forms these, called stalagmites, because you might trip on them. So you have a stalactite and a stalagmite, and when they come together and meet, it's called a column. And then here we have some that they don't drip down, they sort of flow down and make like these wonderful formations. You're going to see so many of these wonderful curtains or drapes. There's drapes here, and we even have some kind of drapery that has a funny name that we'll show you as we get a little further along. Halfway, we would have been walking around stalactites and stalagmites and all kinds of things. Yeah, I'm sure you did. One other interesting feature in this room is over here, and I'll show you where it is because it's hard for everyone to see. It's exploring, right? When you go see other stuff. Yeah. Yes. And there's a story that goes with this too, because not only did Absalom Lehman come down here and make pathways, he had another little saying, and it was this: if you can break it, you can take it. It was like a souvenir shop. You could come down here, and if you could bring your hammer and ding that off, you could take it home with you, which was fine. I mean, back in that day, that's kind of what people did. But the unfortunate part was people would often take one, and if the geologists went back into the cave, they would find other places where people had just thrown them down and said, "There's a better one." And so some of these stalactites never even left the cave. They just were broken and left here. So that one still has one, and you can hear it played. The reason why we don't play it anymore are things like this right here. Can you see the chip out of it? Yeah. If you go by, use your light or your phone light to look carefully. There's all kinds of places where there's chips taken out of it, and it would have just destroyed the whole feature if they had kept playing it. But notice too how these draperies just have little halictites popping out of them. Some kind of event happened there, and it decided to wick its way out. It does look like it's very much like an xylophone. That's exactly right. That's exactly what it would be like. You see that, guys? See how sparkly that is? The interior's all crystal, but the outside doesn't look that way. Things that Lehman Caves is known for. So this is called the tom-tom room, or the drum room, because people thought they looked like drums, and very much like in the music room, they would pick up stalactite and hit on them, and it would sound like a drum. They're no longer growing, so geologists aren't exactly sure how they grow, but they all have this one feature. See the little crack along the edge, like where the cream in an Oreo cookie would be? Yeah. All of them have that little crack. And they think that's where the water, under great pressure, oozes out and starts to form these big circular formations called shields. And Lehman Caves has 300 of them. It's one of its big features. But the water oozes out that little cream filling edge, and then it drips down and makes these wonderful pedestals. When you come through, there's a shield on this side, and part of it's broken off, and you can see distinctly there's a crack right down the whole center of this thing, where the water must just spray out like water coming out of a hose. Under pressure, it must just spray out and make these circular formations. So make sure you take a look around. The shields are everywhere. Every time I go through, somebody goes, oh, there's one, and here's one right here. But always look, you'll see that little telltale edge where the two cookies come together. Now when we go down the stairs here, I can't understand how it forms up here, and then the dripping water's down here. It seems like it would be levitating there and then putting the drips down as far as supporting what's above it. Over here, this is the most photographed shields in the cave. They're called the parachutes, and they're part of the Grand Palace. So we're going to go into the Grand Palace. Feel free to walk around, go up to the sunken garden, take pictures, just do some self-exploration, look at things, just take some time down here for yourself. Yeah.